Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Property Management 101, and today we'll be discussing what is known in student housing as TURN. If you've not already done so, please watch my disclosure video as well as my why I do this video. If you find this video helpful and learn something new, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. At the end of the video today, I'll also be sharing you a bonus practice. For those of you that aren't aware to what we're referring to when we say the word TURN, here's a brief description of what it is. First, to start, we're not referring to dorms or university housing managed facilities. We're referring to student purpose-built complexes. At these complexes, you have a time frame of the year that is referred to as TURN. And in most markets and universities, that is roughly a 10 to 14 day window in August that is between when the students move out and when the students move in. During this time frame, staff put in a crazy amount of hours, and it's hard to describe what it's like until you've experienced it for yourself. It's also known as organized chaos. TURN has many twists and turns, but here are the 3 best practices to keep in mind with your turns. Number 1, plan early. I would start recommending to having a staff meeting weekly as early as April. This is a great way to check in with your staff to make sure everything is in line and scheduled to be ready for your turn period. As a manager, while I was also hiring my staff, I would go over and provide to them what TURN was and what to expect during this time. For students and all part-time workers, I would also include an agreement within their job offer that included the expectations for TURN and being available additional time during this period. Number 2, preparing vendors. Vendors can make or break your TURN. It's really important that you have a good set of vendors that clearly know what you expect and your standards for them as vendors. Here's a list of don'ts to keep in mind when considering using vendors during TURN. Number 1, don't use a vendor for the first time during TURN. Use a vendor throughout the year to ensure that they can see your expectations with them and you can see their work. Don't rely on just one vendor per trade. Have at least 2 vendors per trade. If something happens with that one vendor, then at least you know you have other vendors you can lean on during that TURN. Number 3, don't listen to a vendor when they can tell you they can handle all of your work. If you decide that it's worth using just one vendor per trade, that is fine, but I wouldn't recommend to do it your first or second TURN. Please have them show you over multiple turns they can handle the volume and the speed you're requiring that they provide to you over that time. Don't rely on a vendor if they can handle the volume and speed of your TURN. Ask questions about their staff, how many staff that they are allocating to your site during this time frame. What time can they start? What time can they work until? Can they work weekends? If so, how many staff can they allocate per the weekends? Don't skip things like insurance paperwork, billing information, tax information, etc. Ensure that vendor has all those things updated prior to TURN in your PMS or your accounting system that are necessary to ensure that they're updated and stay updated throughout your TURN. And the last don't to consider when you're considering different vendors for your TURN process, don't wait to process your vendors' invoices. Giving your vendors prompt payment will be important to ensure you maintain a good, strong relationship with them. Number 3, best practice to consider during TURN, lean on and learn from others. Learn from others' mistakes and not make your own. TURN has many aspects and it's hard to be prepared for everything. Things will come up, things will go wrong, there will be staffing issues, vendor issues, etc. Be prepared with how to handle them and be able to bounce things off others for support. This will be very important during this time. Lean on other staff members within your company in the same position who've been through it before. Ask how your company handles the consistent practices within TURN. Now onto the bonus practice for this video. This is something I felt too often I don't see from different companies that they do and staffs, and I think this is very, very important to ensure you're always improving your TURN process. Shortly after your TURN, have a scheduled follow-up meeting with your staff and your vendors. I would strongly recommend just having this meeting just a day or 2 after TURN to ensure that everything's still fresh in your mind, to go over what worked, what didn't work, ask for the vendor feedback from your staff. It may also be wise to host a separate meeting with your vendors individually to get their feedback as well. This way, while everything is fresh in your mind, you can collect that from all those for future TURNs so you're ensuring you're consistently improving your TURNs. TURN is a very important and sensitive time of the year. I've seen some budgets that as much as 20% of the annual expense are spent just during these 2 weeks of TURN. Hopefully your move-in day is your victory lap, and I hope you found these practices helpful and learned something new. If so, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Happy leasing!